Hello. Oh, there we go. Volume go down, please. Hello, welcome back to Snowbound Blood. It is not Friday, but who cares? I'm home early from college, because today ends early. You're now getting into Volume 9, I think? No, Volume 9. Also, something I noticed, look, the Snowbound Blood logo. This is Cecily coloured, and this is Noxious coloured, so that's cool. Cool little detail. And yeah, there's all these things we've been unlocking for each route. Obviously, I've unlocked all of them because I've done them all. You know. Yes, now we move on to Volume 9 of Gears, Green, and Greenhorns. This is going to be an interesting route, trust me, especially the latter half. Oh, the game board is falling into place. Figures connected by patterns beyond their comprehension move to their positions. Factions come together and opponents are pitted against each other. The playing field has never been level, but did you ever think it would be? That is not the game at play here. No, the rules of this game are too complex for you to divine, and unknowable stakes hang in the balance. The resolution of this contest will ripple across a universe far vaster than you have ever suspected. Perhaps it's for the best that you do not realise your importance. It is a heavy burden to bear, and you already have plenty of those, don't you? Now we find ourselves at a turning point. Two players prepare their next move. So we have Bart, the Bart Man, and Sinair Montour. Damn girl, you pretty. Anyway, we will obviously start with Mr. Happy over here. And you're absolutely positive the sigil you found belongs to Noxious? Without a hint of conspiracy or shadow of a doubt? And we're back with Necron. Something I've actually noticed, Noxious doesn't appear in this route or the next one. We've not really seen him as much, especially since the last route as well. Your partner, conversational and occupational, jogs up to your side once he's finished. Direct quote, crossing knots for facing tots. Trust me, this is totally legit. I know it sounds kind of sketch, but it's a real deal. 110%. We're about to blow this fucking frozen soda treat stand. Okay, Necron. You wince as he drops that curse so close to the underground. Please, you tried to telepathically impart. Keep it clean down there. You're looking at me funny. Sorry if we're talking explosives with little ankle biters. Necron, if you're going to be accompanying me to the reduplication caverns, you need to be on your absolute best behaviour. And that, quite notably, is a very big if. This is one of the most guarded areas in all of Repeton. You're not a Jayblood, you're not an Enthal, and you are most certainly not a child. It's a miracle I am permitted to enter. Do you know the amount of paperwork I'm obligated to fill out for as much as 5 minutes at the entrance? Also, I did just have a McDonald's at town, so I'm a bit, stuffed. Necron gives you rhetorical questions some thought. You quirk a brow in his direction before deciding to speed this exchange along. Keep your mouth clean is what I'm saying. Unless like a personal talking to from Miss Heckrix herself. Oh, solid. You'll be able to notch a 12-course meal off my carb palate, promise. Before it sits on my noggin, I thought of a gnarly way to spin the tail behind me finding that punk, You shoot him an ice-cold glare and he scrambles to second landing. Assassinated punk sigil. Yeah, tells me what I was going for there. Anyway, get this, partner. You've heard it thrice already and really don't need yet another rerun of these events clogging your memory. As thankful as you are for your perfect recall, it can sometimes be a double-edged sword in your life. Assuming it works as intended, that is. You're trying to get better at not conceptualizing such things about yourself as perfect, even if you did once take pride in the idea. Listen, it's quite alright. I promised the story was sufficiently thrilling the first 3 times. Oh, sure. It don't count as 3 if you didn't hear me. You just get so lost in that head of yours sometimes, you don't even listen. You try to protest this injustice, but Necron raises a cold metallic finger up to your lips to shush you. Something inside you shrivels up in distaste. I'm serious. If I bite it, I'm gonna need your retelling to be up to snuff. The sea was mammoth as all get out. Oh god. Sigh. You don't actually sigh, but you let the record state that you're emotionally exhausted enough to sigh. Ah, nice vanilla milkshake. So here's how it goes down. Left Buffin got an email filled with all kinds of scrambled garbo. Not a real word in the whole doc. Couldn't understand jack myself. It figures that Noxious will be able to get past something as simple as a contact block. Love Muffin, you know, is Orica. The Necron rule of thumb is that any unassigned pet names automatically fall to his mate spirit. But you know my Gubby, sharp as us. You know my Gubby, sharp as saw blades. Cracked the code in no time flat. She was all tip-tap typing, and then she was all, I'm him. Darkened lenses. Excuse me, when do I get to hear these alterations you mentioned? This is all painfully familiar so far. I'm getting there, I'm getting there. Look, do you want to pay due respect to my possible future corpse or not? For real this time. Get the feeling that he's about to ask where he was before you interrupted him, so you preemptively tell him he was headed to the ruins of the Tom Cruise Memorial Theatre the First. Right, she cracked the code and sent me to check out the coordinates she scavenged. Guess Noxious was a total Tom Cruise nut. This is so random. And then you'd have to try and mess up an already ruined theatre, that is. There was a radio buried under some of the rubble. It turned out to be a bomb. I would have kicked it for real if the countdown had been a second less. If used it in a negative time. I'd seen the model before, so I wasn't exactly... Here we go, it's time for the punchline you're more than familiar with. The answer is so ingrained in your mind that you can't help but blurt out with him. Tuning out, blown away. Oh, wait, what? I thought you'd said... Told you I made JJ's, didn't I? There it is. Blown away works a million times better, don't you think? Before it bursts, though, it croaks something out in that janky robot voice. Breakdown in the database. Bet my life and it means the reduplication records. Got hunch some kind of double entendre with the whole breaking down thing. Should just got themselves some associated meanings, right? I heard a thing or two about there being a bunch of concepts linked to him. And that sounds like just kind of ancient stuff those guys would keep on hand. That or he's wrecked shop down there, which means we should definitely investigate anyways, just to be safe. Now continues to recite the aftermath of this tale, go into the excruciating details of the medical attention he received from Orica, which you don't really need to hear again. Oh, I said that really fast. You're honestly skeptical about there being any immediate danger aside from the caverns. That would be a severe crisis if true, and everything appears to be functioning as normal. Necron's hunch doesn't entirely convince you either, when Noxious is unpredictable above all else. You basically take Necron along for the technological assistance, if the need for it arises. Young computers don't bode well, and he's picked up a thing or two from his mate spirit. Alright, he's past the gory surgery pun, which means this particular topic is over. Really put the surge in surgeon. So, the new punchline is pretty boss, right? At this point you're familiar enough with Necrons, know which way leads to the path of least resistance. You give him a non-committal nod and stuff your hands in your pocket. I'll admit, the new version is far more thematically appropriate, but only for an objective standpoint. I enjoyed the humour. Are you finished? He is, thank the gods. Take a deep breath, put on your best professional look of neutrality, and nod in the direction of the cave entrance. The accoutrement golems standing guard over there have probably been incredibly suspicious of you for the past 10 minutes. Not the best start, but what can you do? Two of you stop 6 feet in front of the constructs. You calmly endure their robotic stare-downs and ignore your technophobic nerves with poise and grace. Cecily Eopara, I'm here for a priority Aleph case. There's a low whirring as the process to take this information in. Yes, you sure as hell are Cecily Eopara, and this sure as hell is the most important mission of them all. Necron entirely ignores your earlier insistence that you do the talking and strolls up to introduce himself, complete with an offered handshake of his metal hand. Necron Export, I'm with the genius over here. How's it hanging? Oh. There's a dramatic build-up to the negative-sounding chime that blasts from the speakers in their torsos, as the two of you are flatly denied entrance. God damn it. They swivel their heads toward each other, in grim reminder that you absolutely hate listening to these things. The local communication sounds like a tiny version of a nails on a chalkboard. Whenever you slow that down, it says something, I'm not sure. Necron, however, has only dealt a blow to his emotions. This isn't a matter you're going to take lying down, though. You clear your throat and grab their attention once more. With all due respect, his accompanying me is no light decision. He's a vital asset to the case and absolutely must come with me. He's fully aware of the importance of keeping to himself, and I'm sure you'll find that I've accounted for the possibility of an appropriate third party in my submitted paperwork. The following series of displeased clicks makes you clench your fists behind your back. You have a feeling this particular leg of your mission would turn out this way, but you keep pressing. I am the chief regulator, and I will have you know that I am perfectly qualified to select my own investigative partners. Would you like me to call your superiors and explain on your behalf why you played a part in the failure of this case? I'm just one phone call away from... You feel a metallic hand clap down on your shoulder, freezing you in your tracks. Your blade hand twitches as it does when you're seconds away from pulling it out. From Ron, you don't forget the intimidation techniques don't work on machines. Look, says, it's fine. I get it. Just go ahead without me, I'll wait for you outside. You'll only be ecstatic at the idea of doing things solo. That's how you've operated for sweeps. But the notion of leaving Necron behind at this junction twists something in your gut. Marginally, you mean. You're not that close, but you think you're close enough that you'll feel something. It's fine. I'll see you soon. Don't do anything stupid out here while I'm gone. Don't worry none about that. Remember to make the right call, Cecily. Hang loose. Necro raises his hands up in the universally understood signal for hanging loose. You know, the one where you make your mimic a phone with your hat. When he winks at you, it clicks. I'll keep in touch. With that, he saunters off, letting you pass through security with the only added hurdle of having your weapon confiscated. You give Proserpina one last longing glance as you step into the elevator. Oh. Okay, so this is basically like where trolls grow up. They're all looked after in this place. Oh god, look, there's a lot going on here. Oh look, you can see Sabine's symbol on the wall, down the bottom right. And a lot. All at once you're smacked in the ears with the cries and rampant laughter of all sorts of kids in all sorts of colours. This sleep's bat sure is lively. They must have had a larger sample size than usual. Thankfully, your entry in the class playroom is but a blip on the radar. All of the young trolls are content to mind their own kid business. On top of that, you don't see any teachers around. The closest thing to adult supervision you can find is some kind of life-sized Bart Simpson-themed jungle gym in the corner. If you're quiet, you should be able to get through without alerting anyone. You may have filed your papers for cabin entrance, but the records room is a little above your level of authority. Slowly you inch your way around the perimeter of the room, taking great care to look as inconspicuous as possible, which is admittedly not much. You have nothing but sharp edges, extremely out of place in this bright and harmless playroom. These places used to be war zones. Somebody managed to catch Sabine's insignia, garishly graffitied onto a board to your right and sigh. That kid sure loved his neon. This place must have been an inspiration for him. Keep hugging the wall, headed towards the door but by the far corner. You should be able to scout your... Psst! Hey, can I talk to you for a second? You freeze in place at the sound of someone much older than you expected. Figures, you're hoping to make it through without instant wishful thinking. Slowly you turn around to face them. Ah! What the fuck is... what the fuck is that? Bart. You're Cecily, right? What the hell is this? You barely keep yourself from gasping at the sight of a very alive and very moving Bart Simpson. There was a person in that thing the whole time? Ugh, it looks unsettling. Yes I am. I'm here on official business. This is... Yeah, I get myself off with a big, long yawn that lasts about 5 seconds longer than the typical one does. I know who you are, Chief Regulator. I've heard the whole 9 expanses about you. The thing about Bacon and Dory is that they talk a lot. Words pass around fast between us for better or worse. Wait a minute. You're telling me you're another one of those boys I keep finding myself having to deal with? The foreign only. And before you ask, I'd like to make a few things clear. At least my priorities being how you even got here in the first place, because I'm most definitely not paid enough credit to care. Well, that's unfortunate. That's fortunate, you guess. So you can't help but feel offended about how cavalier he's being about his position on Hemiffi's behalf. Okay, so forget everything you've heard about how we got our name, because it's all a heaping pile of nonsense garbage. No, Picard didn't win a medal, and no, Andari didn't see the name foretold in the stars, and no, Cryon wasn't holding a sword or reciting... You sigh, rubbing a temple. Stop talking. I assure you I wasn't going to ask about that at all. Yeah, you and literally everyone else, Lamau. It's very strange not being able to see his face as he's talking. His voice isn't giving you much to work with other than exhausted. He's also talking to himself, a lot. It makes you wonder how any of these boys manage to engage in conversation with each other in timely fashion. Nobody should care about it because there's not even a story behind it. The boys was just a backup name that was used due to group indecision. That's legitimately all there is to know. That's it. Freeze frame, roll credits. It's current's the whole damn thing. Try to get your blood pumper out because we're starring on Whose Line with Razor. Give him a blank stare as he slowly descends into a barely contained turmoil of his own making. I wanted to be an actor. But no, I'm stuck at Wriggling Day Entertainment for these punk rats. As I'm contractually obligated to call them treasured guests. Okay, that's quite enough of that, you think. As fascinating as this man's failed career plan sounds, you have essential reduplication records to raid. You start to back away slowly, hoping he won't notice you moving a hair at a time. Yeah, this is actually, I think it's a pretty long route, this one. As is the next one. There's a Wriggling Day, is there? Please, tell me more. I don't know if there is even is one today. Unless you're forced to perform anyway, so I stopped keeping track. It's like nobody around here has little enough dignity to pull out an ugly cartoon mascot suit. I know, real shocker. Careful, you better pick your jaw up the floor because someone's not in a pre-adolescent roller skates over it. You're almost there. Your hand is on the handle and boy, you glad he just keeps talking. Slip away and leave. The Bart do his duties the moment he looks the other way. They have the nerve to call me a substitute teacher, like I'm not perfectly aware that... Okay, I know you're busy, but you can just say that you need to leave instead of backing away like I'm trying to kill you. You really can't be sneaking around me when my Morel is a fucking magician. You know what? You don't even know what you were thinking, trying to vanish right in front of his eyes. The suit must be throwing you off. Well, if he's going to keep being a thorn on your side, you'll figure you'll at least make him a useful one. Very well. You're going to tell me how to gain access to the Populous database. You level with him on your best intimidating official stares. It's non-negotiable. Sounds wrong considering I haven't seen the records room actually, but alright. Question. More of a statement really. I don't care at all about what you're doing. You're aware that I'm chief regulator. It's undoubtedly in your best interest to cooperate. Here's what you all say when you need us to do something we don't want to do. You're a legit regulator. I'm sorry for ever doubting your skills. He says it without enough derision to make your expression sour. Whatever, if he hasn't seen the database, then he's sort of even less useful to you than before. In that case, I've other people who could assist me. Good day. Well, la-di-da, if your secret assistant is so useful to your mission, why do you bring them in with your fancy pants security clearance? Slip of the tongue. Rabbit twitches in irritation. That's a rhetorical question. I'm not invested in this scenario in the slightest. It's none of your concern, as a matter of fact, so it works out for us both. Okay, so you're saying you tried and failed. Sorry for my life, Lamau. Bet 10 loops you tried walk right into them before the golem showed the poor sook at the door. None of your concern. You can tell you replied just a hair too quickly as soon as the words leave your mouth. Not that it matters, you were still here on official business. You turn around and prepare to shut the door on him, but something he says catches your attention. Man, wouldn't life be so much easier if we could just get them inside somehow? He said it was the precise amount of forced wistfulness needed to convey that he's offering you a deal. You pause, and you curse under your breath before turning toward him again. You have 10 words to explain yourself. I can smuggle them in if you take over for me. You squint at him. Even with your previous carelessness, you're stunned to see a Jade would make such an offer. You know that's his caste, for the record, due to his being neither an Enthorn nor a child. Occasional columns can't speak your language, so they're also off the table. Process of elimination. You make a mental note to let him if you know about this little attitude as soon as you're out of here. Do I get to explain the terms and conditions, or are you just going to keep glaring at me? You're not melting the parts with whatever eyelids you think you have, lady. This thing absorbs heat like no one's business. For this steel may very well leave you broken by the end of it on several emotional and psychological levels. Make use of the right percentage of sweat and fear, because it will most definitely replace the majority of your primary grey matter functions. Full disclosure, it's mostly going to be sweat. Ugh, stop wasting my time. Tell me what I need to know. You see this? Bart motions over to the rest of the playroom. It's every Jade's ideological paradise. A full gaggle of kids, safe and sound. Normally, classes are split between the higher and lower shades, mainly just for ease of teaching physiological and social differences. Jades and Sea Dwellers, on the other hand, are rare enough to get their own separate classes. Honor students, as the official designation goes. At playtime, though, they all converge. The only thing missing from this perfect picture is a teacher explaining something academy or safety related. And the mandatory cha-cha slide time. There's always a required level of cha-cha slide competency for these kids to worry about. Despite it all, Bart is showing the place off with the same enthusiasm as one would have for a garbage dump. This is the first week of my own personalized hell. I have to watch them to entertain these treasured guests, so I can't leave this place. Why aren't you currently participating in your duties? I'm on break right now. But he's still here. He's being crawled all over. He answers your question before you can properly formulate it. If the grub's list totally unattended, Miffy's gonna turn me into pre-parcelized cubed meat. She just knows somehow. She always knows. But that's where you come in. If you wear the Bart suit, you're halfway there to being a perfect replica of me. Lose your faith in troll kind and the other half complete them out. Honestly, taking care of these little guys isn't even all that hard. They only ever want like 3 things anyway: sugar, stimulation, and Sims and shit. The only solace I find on daily is hoping that our ancestors suffer just as hard as we did dealing with them. This is the most ridiculous mission plan you've ever witnessed, and your acting chops are still abhorrent, but you'll take what you can get. Besides, you still have some expertise caring for grubs. You think you can handle grub sitting, even if they're technically a little older than grubs by this point. Pardon me. Oh, you're keeping these big volatile brats sated? I'd out with the bigger costume and sneak your partner in. Pardon me. All things considered, it sounds vaguely reasonable. You have your doubts it'll function as planned, but it's not like you have any moral objections. Fine, what's the catch? What are you asking for in return? You start getting the impression that he's giving you a blank stare. But what are you talking about? Did I not mention that you had to leave my post? Doesn't he sound like the employee of the Blink material? He's sure Necron would want to have some words about his work ethic. You give your new accomplice a nod that says, yes, you're willing to do this. He brushes past you and into the break room. Come on, the suits are in here. Can't change around them unless they find out that the bar's not real. Oh my gosh. You never did see the point of lying to kids about this sort of thing, but you shake their thoughts and follow him inside. There's a picture of Gervat on the window, the door window. That's interesting. A lot of pictures of Hamifi, and one of Sestro. Oh look, there's pictures of Krite and Dari on the locker. Oh. Break room is far less chaotic than the play area. Well, in comparison, by itself it's still a bit of a sty. He closes the door behind you just in time to witness Bart decapitating himself. Oh. Man, it's hitting you just hard just how big this thing's head that... It's hitting you just how... It's hitting you just how big... Oh, not... Man, it's hitting you just how big this thing's head is. Now that the troll underneath it isn't wearing it anymore. I'm glomer, by the way. If there's any of your business either, but telling people that name's none of your business, it's kind of getting old, so they usually believe me. Glomer's already getting rid of this costume, which you suspect is a bigger source of joy to him than he's letting on. He's going to comment on the matter and take the head off from his hand so he can unzip himself. He stares at his bulbous, lifeless eyes, trying to muster the courage to don the mask for yourself, unless he's just afraid it will snag on a horn. You're sure this will fit? I'd really not rather get stuck. I like my dignity to just fine where it is. Fun fact, actually. Boris was designed to have a big head because he was originally going to be a live-action character, instead of an actor's horn inside the mask. He just grew attached to the elongated head because it gave the extra benefits of making his facial expressions more apparent with the new proportions when he turned into a cartoon instead. As off-topic as this is, it's admittedly somewhat fascinating. You glance at Glomer's horns and nod with a neutral hum. Interesting move, pardon me. Okay, I'm pretty sure at least one end of that tie should be a bit thinner than the other, but whatever. Glomer soon sheds his suit in full, and you glance back at the window and that's exposing you both to the children that still don't know that Bart's not real. And here you are holding his head. I'm no schooling expert, but I do find it curious that the break room is so connected to the playroom. You're not worried about people seeing you through the windows. You start to dress yourself by reverse engineering the process you just saw. It's not bioscience, but it's a little bit embarrassing. No, that's a one-way mirror. They can't see shit in here. This one is to be able to scout the room for danger in case of emergencies, but there's not been an incident in sweeps. You know what the last one was? A goddamn fucking school type burrowed its way up from the core. Glomer's rooting around in the closet for something. The bigger outfit that he's going to use to sneak Necron in, you assume. Probably let Necron know about that, actually. The ugly pile of nightmares barged right in and turned the whole place into beef jerky. Kill a few kids and teachers in the process. I think I took a little clip of it, girl. We don't know what the deal with that was, but she was never seen again, at least not officially. You said to assume she was good as dead. If you've read Vastera, I think you'll know who he's talking about there, actually. For someone who was complaining about Bitcoin and Dari being so talkative, he sure is happy to run his mouth. Now I've got hiccups. You get the impression that he doesn't usually have the chance to speak his mind like this, especially with such a colourful vocabulary going on. Fucking hell. You're still working on fitting your arms into the outfit by the time Glomer emerges in a uniform even more absurd than the one he was wearing earlier. You still recognise it as Bart's Lucis, Santa's little helper, despite your complete lack of interest in the show. There's enough room for a second person in the back, which currently paints a sad, deflated picture. Don't you think it's going to be suspicious exiting with 2 working legs and coming back with 4? The guards aren't fools. No, check this out. Some shuffling and the sound of wooden stilts clacks against the floor as the empty sagging space in the back starts to fill up. She prays around the room a little. Sure, the suit looks well occupied. Yeah, it's still be costume, but they never actually give me a partner to work this thing. I just kind of figured it out, I guess. God, I'd be relieved to actually have someone else in here for once. Impressive. Just make sure you don't arouse any suspicion. I'm putting a lot of frankly unwarranted trust in you. If you let me down, you won't be hearing from me again. Oh no, consider me spooked to shit or whatever. Alright, you're both suited up. Just one more step before you disguise complete. Put on the mask. First thing you notice is your limited vision. You should be able to avoid colliding with obstacles, but it's still mildly inconvenience. Jesus Christ, calm down. That sounds like a bad Does it not fit properly? Do I have it on incorrectly? Unfortunately, the one-way mirror Glomer mentioned earlier is the wrong way around for you to get a good look at yourself. Glomer shakes his head in sighs. How do I put this delicately and also in terms you won't kill me for? You look way too straight-edged for the part. Put your back way, listen to it. Stop moving your chest out. Let your posture be lost in the void. Or don't, I don't fucking know. These kids are dumb and won't notice. I mean, you definitely don't have my voice, so you're probably fucked anyway. I'll enjoy the wee extended break while it lasts. Good luck out there, my condolences, etc, etc. With that, Glomer marches toward the door you both came through. Let's come to a stop right in front of it. Could you, Get a message and open the door. He shoves out like the sad creature he is, and you lose sight of him. Okay, Cecily, time to take care of some children. You've got this. You meant to act like a character, but you have no knowledge of, but you've got this. Return to the playroom, sporting your best slouch and make a point to shuffle your feet on the way in. Now you have a moment alone, you quietly tell him why he has to contact Necron. Be Cecily, be the other guy. Okay, so you can do these in either order. I'll be Cecily first. At your command, YVS awakens and establishes a connection to your partner waiting just outside. Thankfully, he answers almost immediately. Hey, what's the gas, bud? Necron, good news, we're getting you inside. No fake, that rocks. What's the plan? Give the armament and I can comply. No mechanical attachments necessary. Just keep a lookout for a troll in a Santa's little helper costume. We're smuggling you in. That's right, Cecily, you're a legend. To your dismay, there's a little troll wandering towards you with a curious look. Shit, you think they heard you. You should have done this in a break area. You clear their throat and deepen your voice, putting on the best Glomer impression you can muster. That is to say, smuggling your trousers into my digestive tract, because I am Bart. I am eating your trousers. Run along now. Your Glomer impression is piss poor. Is this like code for something, or? Shit, you can't lean away from your calling device when it's stuck to your ear at all times. You shoot the kid off with a wave before resuming your talking hushed tones. No, I'm stuck grub-sitting in a Bard costume. What could that possibly be code for? Hey, don't you reckon not being able to wrap my head around it means it's good code? Look, just... This small child does not want to leave. Something about a cowabunga? Is that a thing Bart says? Yes, cowabunga to you too. Really should just end the conversation as quickly as possible before this infant gets enough dirt on you to rat you out. This costume leave the caverns soon. I have to go. Cowabunga? Click. Necron has all the information he needs. He'll be perfectly fine. You turn your attention to the child who is now climbing your leg. As gently you can, you scoop your hands underneath their tiny armpits and pry them off of your strangely in proportion puppet body. They deposited back on the floor. Give them a pat between the horns and walk off in the direction of a small whiteboard near the front of the room. I should tie them over for a second. Uh-oh. Oh no. You freeze like a statue when you see Himifi enter the room. A sleeping Grook tucked in their arms and a smile on her face? Whoa. Now that... Oh, that is some... Whoa. Himifi. I heard it was somebody's special day. Where's my little wriggling day hero? Oh my god, hello, pretty lady. I mean, yes. She hands you the grub with immense care, who you instinctively take in your confused days. Don't drop them this time. You stare, mute, as she wraps her arms around the boy who runs up to her in a warm hug. Gosh, you've grown so much since I saw you last. Keep this up and you'll be taller than me before you know it. Oh dear, things are already happening. You're growing up so fast. There's a genuine bright sparkle in her eyes as she lifts the kit high above her head, earning a chorus of gills from the crowd as the wriggling day hero enjoys his newfound height. You used to play with her and Sestro both once. Not exactly in this manner. You were never the most externally excitable person, even around children, but similar enough to you to feel a sting behind your eyes. You don't remember the last time you've seen Hamithi smile like that. You feel upset. You feel a lot of things all at once, difficult to untangle. You feel like this was not meant for your eyes. Is it what she wanted when she was in their place? What she wished you could have been? A whole swells inside you as you watch her, caught in a limbo of regret and deep, cutting affection. The sound of a high-pitched yawn draws the attention to the infant in your arms. They are so small. It suddenly hits that you've never held a grub before. You become acquainted with Sestro and Hamithi before they pupated and left school. This is a first for you. Curiosity doesn't exactly strike you. It more gently rests a hand on your shoulder. The first thing you do when they're ready to duplicate is name themselves in a denomination low. You can't help but wonder though. I wonder if you could just sort of guess? Guess name. What will the name of this little grub be? Zimbafug. Okay, I'm not calling it Zimbafug. There is actually a lot of things that get unique answers. I will try to do as much of them I can remember. Cecily. No, you'll not place this burden on another person. Shuri. No, too personal. Wasn't kind of fucking weird? No. I believe that Sestro, Hamithi, and Yeshin and Orica get the same answer. I think, yeah, Necron as well. Okay, let's do someone from who we've thought. Oshus. You may have spent too many late nights reading the case files. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that gets the answer for all of us. So, Noxious. Absolute the fuck not. The idea of naming a grub after that scumbag makes you want to throw up. I'm actually the one who discovered that on the Discord. I discovered that. I think I discovered a few. Pardon me. Austin. Austin has a nice ring to it. You nod, mentally high-fiving yourself with such a great taste in names. I think a bunch of other names. Let me try. Kohi. That also gets one. Alien starts babbling non-stop in your hands now they're awake. Yeah, this name works, you think to yourself. You're taking the chattiness as agreement. Oh. You're hit with a strange feeling that this name would lead to colossal misfortune. As such, you change your mind. Interesting. A shiver travels down your spine, unbidden. You immediately reconsider. Do not play with fires you cannot control, Cecily. Oh, I wonder if they fixed the spelling of this one. No, they didn't. They haven't fixed it yet. It should be. It should be spelled with an E. Okay, don't ask about that. That's fast error stuff. I think that's it. The only ones I haven't done are ones that get the same response. Oh, let me try one more. No. I will call him Bagel. So let's get the six-letter formula about the occasion. Decide to name the grub Bagel. Bagel goggles at you and wiggles their little feet, and you can't help but feel something tugging at your blood pressure. Seems like Bagel trusts you. Feels kind of nice. Hamithi finished smothering the wriggling day kid with affection before standing back up. I'll be taking our treasured guest back now. Grub safely tucked in her arms again, she speaks to the audience of children that seem to adore her to bits and pieces. Behave yourselves, alright? I'll be back with a special treat soon. It rhymes with bake. Her eyes crinkle at the corners. I'm so proud of you all. The kids erupted with excitement, more than happy about the notion of stuffing themselves full of pre-processed dessert. Hamithi waves them goodbye before turning to you. Oh. Tone immediately shifts to something more familiar to you. Break room. Break room. I don't know. You can't refuse, not unless you want to completely blow your cover and waste a lot of time explaining a lot of things while under great and angry scrutiny. She opens the door and you follow, still feeling off kilter. You fear she may have already caught on to your identity, with the way she's staring not only daggers but entire chainsaws at you. As soon as the door closes, her even tone is drenched into toxin. Listen closely and don't make me repeat myself. We keep a very strict schedule down here, optimized for developing children. I don't take kindly to chronological deviations. And I especially don't take kindly to coming down here and ruining our perfect system. At this point, you're almost biting your tongue hard enough to bleed. If you might just let out a breath out of turn, you'll know she'll drag you by the ear to exile, or worse. You can mull your decisions over while you attend to some matters for me, glomer. A wave of relief washes over you. Stand more to attention, trying to seem obedient. She gives you a funny look before continuing. I need you to prepare one of the low-blood classrooms for the wriggling day party we're holding after recess. You'll be lent an accoutrement golem to aid while cleaning. Remember, accoutrement golems are not toys. They are school assistants, caretakers of children in classrooms. They are not bodyguards to block the closet for you to nap in. The banners are in the supply closet as always. Every desktop should have a goodie bag and 2 napkins on the top left corner, and a plate in the centre. You're also required to prepare the cake. The instructions are on the box. They should be basic enough for even you to follow. If you make another cake-related mistake and force us to order from Dursel again, you'll be hearing from the principal. Who's that? You're already enough of a liability to the cast without you having to bring in both of its busiest integrants for your next performance review. Her eyes narrow into slits. I suggest you fool around wisely, if you must. Riv continues to give you instructions in excruciating detail, speed and brutality. Detail, speed and brutality. You're lucky enough to be able to absorb every last word, but you're a special case. Glomer, you imagine, is fucked. By the time you finish the laundry list of assignments, you get a very clear idea of why Glomer is so exhausted. Are we clear? Give her a neutral nod. Now let's use the part where Hamifa gives you a neutral nod in return and vanishes into the darkness, but not this time. This time she's paused quite noticeably. You seem awfully quiet. I do feel you're not sleeping on the job. You shake your head. She still seems suspicious, eyeing you up and down. Are you unwell? You're not yourself today. What's the meaning of this shift in attitude, One might call it downright suspect. She's waiting for you to answer, which is really, really bad. Your mind is racing for an escape, but the emergency exit seems intent on fucking off into the distance. Answer when I'm talking to you. I don't have the time for games. She leans in closer, as if trying to peer into your eyes through the mask. You lean back ever so... Sorry, I just got a reply to something. Ever so slightly, panic starting to claw at you. You... Uh-oh. I believe I've told you to keep your personal device on silent, Glomer. This call will be coming out to your next deposit. Damn, she stares daggers into you, but she looks really pretty while doing it, gotta admit. Can't help but mouth a silent apology to Glomer. You know damn well this one doesn't care for any time off whatsoever. She opens the door to leave, but not before getting one last word in. Don't forget, you're on corporate time and money. I'd be very, very careful about wasting either in the future. You're here forever, after all. And then she's gone. You sit in silence, minus insistent ringing, for a few seconds. This whole situation is giving you a non-negligible amount of whiplash. Well, obviously, keen on interrupting you every attempt to introspect, however, so you accept the call to hiss at the other end of the line while you're preoccupied. As you open your mouth, a big white dog costume walks in, very possibly with Necro in tow. Even more reason to shut your device up. Cecily Eopara! I'll call you back. You hang with me. Minutes in the past, but not many. Be the other guy. That's funny as fuck. You are now Necron Exmort. You've been doing your best to kill time out here, because the last thing you ever do is ditch your new pal. Unfortunately, it's starting to sink into just how much you blow at waiting. It's most certainly unexcellent. You wonder if it'd be bad call to go back to your truck and listen to some good old classics. It takes just 2 notes to relish in the ancient history of Smash. Oh, your Palm Pilot's going off. That's what you call your phone, because you get a major kick out of it. Says he must have not bitten the dust spot down there. Oh god. He even narrates. He introspects like that. Oh. You pick up before the third beep could finish ringing. Let me go into... Hold on, my laptop is fucking up. Hey, what's the gas, bud? Necron, good news, we're getting you inside. Oh, hell yes. No fake, that rocks. What's the plan? Give me the armament and I can comply. No mechanical attachments necessary. Just keep a lookout for a troll in a Santa's little helper costume. We're smuggling you in. You knew you could count on her. I don't know if it's just me, but the sound seems really... Oh, that's why. It was my headset. That's right, Cecily, you're a legend. What does it say? Smuggling your trousers into my digestive tract, because I am Bart. I make your trousers. Run along now. Say what now? You scratch the back of your head, trying to puzzle all this one out. There we go. Is that like code for something, or...? No, I'm stuck representing in a Bart costume. What could that possibly be code for? Hey, don't you reckon me not being able to wrap my head around it means it's good for me to be good code? Look, just... yes, cowabunga to you too. This costume leave the cabin soon. I have to go. Cowabunga? Click. Huh? Well, that was a rousing match of good news. Weird news. At least you don't have to be twiddling your thumbs forever. Just a bit of a waiting game. Which is kind of what it was before, except now it's a shorter one. The records state for the record that you're not confused on the correct applications of cowabunga. You're intimately familiar with those. Cecily using it, though? Now that's something that sounds a smidge out of character, you reckon? She might actually need your help if she started spewing that sort of stuff. The school is definitely capable of cognitive suggestion, because it's how you were all raised. You did your own time with desensitization osmosis like any other fresh grub. The memories of when you were stuffed into that dark industrial tank filled with numbing goo, so you could take a nap for sleep and be psychologically spoon-fed the rules of life and shit. Before you can get too deep into your Cecily mind control theory, you catch a nearby golem spinning their gears about something. That must be your in. You're in your truck all smooth like and psych yourself up to make a banana's first impression. Oh wow. Man, Cecily really was being literal. Well, you should have kind of expected. See the fucking massive cloth Barkby shuffles its way out of the guard's field of view and give him a little wave. You totally failed to hide a snicker. Oh fuck, goddammit, don't tell him I've just been punked. Well, how do you do to you too, dude? Nope, fresh out of punks over here, sweetheart. As us professionals in the business say, this is legit. Okay, I get why you were allowed inside the caverns. You know, besides the fact that you most definitely don't fit the very strict criteria for entry in the slightest. Actually, not besides the fact that not besides the fact that all that that's the entire reason. Fuck, I'm so struggling to read Glomer. Probably my shitty voice I'm doing for him, but I can't think of another one. Youch. What's a bad mood for? Well, no problemo, no how. Usually I give this cranky new person your most personable smile. I'll still be giving me a grab front with that, some way or somehow. Are you in or are you... Are you in or are you skinned, my pal? They exhale hard enough to physically deflate a little. Someone really woke up in the wrong recruit raccoon today, huh? My pal's a great way to pronounce glomer. Good job, man. Keep doing that. As for your other genius plan, great idea, just change in front of the guards because we all have this strange aptitude of actual children around here. I would know, that's my whole gig. God, I risked my entire life saving this. Thanks for hiding. For this, we're hiding somewhere first. Cover, he says. You get the darling ride behind you a pat, almost serve well for your usual truck-induced bursts of affection. Well, I'd say this about covers it, don't you think? I fucked up, you should have said it had him covered. It would have been so much better. You stuff the idea inside your brain box for later. Whenever the specific set of circumstances crops up again, you never know. By the way, name's Necron, Exmort. Your new buddy Glomer grumbles something real bitter sounding under his breath as he circles around your truck. You pay his enthusiasm no mind and follow. He's already saving the whole shebang open for you to climb in. You appreciate the moxie, even if he's assigned you the ass region. Only fair, you suppose. You're kind of a stowaway here. You just go to show you're a real asset. You can really assist him. There's a cool contenders rattle around in your head already. Just keep workshopping your inevitable one-liner. For fuck's sake, Necron. You think this is a good enough opportunity to bond with your brand new hero over here. So tell me, Honeybunch, how's it feel you're on a mission to save the world? What? Well, I sure ain't trying to stir up trouble here. I want to help, so I'm busting so much to get in. Cecily and me, we've been working hard to keep this place clear of bogus scum. It means a lot to us. I might not fancy myself an official Smokey, but I damn feel copacetic about leveling the playing field some. Really can't help the grin on your face. So, how's it feel to be part of history in the making? The suit is all nice and sealed from the back at this point, so two of you walk a lap or two around the perimeter just to get used to the movement mechanics. I don't know what to tell you besides, wow, look at how much I don't care. Do you know I'm going through all this trouble to sneak you in? It's a break from work, nothing less and definitely not a single thing more. That's a weird perspective. That's such a weird perspective. You don't dig the way he's unloading his cynicism at your feet, lighting it all on fire. Makes you want to stamp it out. Piss off. Man, Huff, that's a little harsh. You not feeling that rush of righteousness flowing through your blood roots? That higher calling pan you on the back? I don't think you get it. Which is surprising, because I feel like I'm in the majority when I say this dump is a huge waste of finding energy. Like, it sucks. It's garbage the whole way down, like the likes of us, which the Black Rune is lucky to have better than us. This fight was a troll, I'd kick them right in the horns. Then why don't you do something about it? So you've been walking and talking in circles for a while. Go then takes a sharp turn left and starts to head towards the guards. You show the trap and give the man a moment to collect himself. Just make a peep as the guards get to inspecting you. So when you're real paranoid, your horns poking out for the suit, but you don't hear any sounds of taser arms going off. You both manage to walk inside, freeze and avian. Because I'm too tired. Well, you're really expecting him to pick that third up back at this point. It's a broken world anyway, so any effort spent not complaining about it is totally wasted in my quite honest opinion. I think that's what that means. Not switch into the thought, as you try with all your might to relate to this guy, at all. Nope. Nada. Zilch. Jack diddly doodly dick. You think they have a headache in me to fight for my future? I'd be stuck as Smithy's personal errand boy? There's a big newsflash. I actually did once upon a time. Do you know how much of my grub out I wasted trying to find literally any other option for me? The answer's more than you'd like to know, and what do I care to tell you? And it totally fucked me over until the pheromones of reality seeped into me and turned me into its forever bonded bitch. Since most of my life chasing my dreams, I never even learned to change stuff I'd be crawled into in the end. Court makes a big stink about choosing your path, and it really punishes you for being naive enough to listen. I mean, okay. Did you hear about the scandal with the Simpsons writers? The what now? Exactly! There hasn't been a Simpsons writer in Sweeps, because of the whole Santa's little helper incident. Oh no, that's how bad for 2 seconds. What is about Santa? He's obviously referring to Bart Slutus, the animal you're strutting around imitating. That's the only Santa you've heard of, anywho. Yeah, Santa's little helper. Hold on. Ugh. Tell you what, the vanilla milkshakes from McDonald's are fucking orgasmic to drink. Santa's little some Earthmaniac. Well, some Earthmaniac stormed to right his room and held him hostage until he got a Simpsons writer. Until he got a Simpsons character named after him. Oh my god. Fuck off. Mostly a little bit of writing staff. To avoid repeats, he started working remotely, which turned into phoning in with machine learning. When a big show cuts corner like that, everybody else follows. It's neural networking taking the wheel now, but we haven't seen Troll's interaction for probably longer than I've been kicking around on this hell rock. So what if I'd wanted to be a writer really, really badly? Well, that's just hoping what every ounce of my being to get right for TV only one bad apple to ruin the chance for life. Why that mister just try hard and he'll get there? As if they ever led a J-Blade straight from the planet's sacred mission or whatever, everyone was just humoring my feeble efforts to do anything that I gave two craps about. The reality came crashing down. They tapped me on the shoulder and said, "About damn time, good job gaining your dreams so much, now start teaching the grubs about pretext." Nobody cared who I was before I sucked it up and put on the mess, so you know what? It's not my fucking problem. No one... Never mind. There's a very uncomfortable silence between you two, and not just because they're creeping around the perimeter of the playroom in order to avoid the kids. Kind of a buzzkill, this guy. A real buzzkill. That's my philosophy, anyway. Some of us get to fuck off into the setting suns or with some fucking hot dog plants with reef shirts, make a living for themselves doing something meaningful. While I'm stuck here getting barfed on by grubs all night once I'm done teaching the kids. I mean, fuck! Do you know how hard it is to get a proper vegan meal when you can't just set up shop in a goddamn swamp? Good luck growing your own lunch in Pee-wee's neon fucking playroom, dipshit. All your acting dreams suck. Okay, so there is some... He does know Gerbat. We'll get that explained at some point. You're not going to be a level 5 vegan and only eat meals that don't cash out because no one had ever heard of veggie hams. Now do the funny Bartman dance again. Ugh, can't believe you just got a skip town like that. Unfucking believable. Wowzers, this was sort of a real personal tirade just now, wasn't it? Can't dig everybody, I guess. Hey, smart guy, if you're gonna play 24 questions with me, then here's my follow-up. How does it feel to know that you're inevitably going to lose everything and none of this is ever going to have any value past the moments between us in a rancid mutt sack? What we have is more valuable than you could ever know, Curly Q. I can just stand the thought of just idly letting this place rot. Jason's coming from inaction, I'll tell you that much. And sure, I'll concede that nothing's guaranteed. Gosh, and I've wiped out more times than I can count, but when I die, I'll still have the world left a better place when I came in, because I gave a shit. Because some people just don't understand. That's all you have to say on that, because you're not here to bring him around your way, seeing things or nothing. So Glomer's wigging out of scrambling ahead like a bat out of hell. You almost trip over yourself trying to keep up with him. Well, soon enough, he's cramming you both snug as fuck inside the closet. It's clearly real uncomfy with your metal arm jamming against his rib, but it's clearly trapped sealed tight. You show your appreciation by being very careful to turn your hand into a chainsaw. Corporate time and money. I'll be very, very careful about wasting both in the future. We'll here forever, after all. Damn it, one sounds like she means business. Enough business to ruin your life if she finds you here. As soon as Timothy is gone, and you both walk back out, and you really wish you could have seen Glomer's arm reach out of Santa's little helper's mouth to open the break room door from an outside perspective. I'll call you back. You get a tail of Leslie hanging on to whoever it was that she was talking to. He's ready to get down to business. Cecily, convenient reference, is you, because your name is now Cecily Opara again. Did you succeed, Glomer? If by succeed you mean old Tiger here, let me boogie on down to the schoolyard, then you can sign that off as Yeppers. Chickaroony even. I don't think I need to answer that, given what he just said pretty much the worst thing I've ever heard in my miserable excuse for a life. Yes is a one-word sentence, you two. You really start to chuck your outfit, wanting out of it as soon as possible. Life, you're starting to realise, is comparable to a Bart Simpson costume, which is cramped, claustrophobic, and kind of insufferable sometimes. Oh, fuck it now. Okie dokie, that's step one complete, right? Once we get to the database, it's smooth cruising. The two of them get the picture and shuffle out of their costume as well. Now that you're inside and Prometheus gone, you should be good to move around freely as long as you don't cause a ruckus. We still have a problem. I need to find someone useful enough who could direct us to the records room. Right, that hurts my feelings. I was under the impression you'd work better solo anyways. But the best buddy that you have Bitcoin to thank for that. Necron finally untangles himself from the lower half of Bart's Lucis, 10 seconds past your first threshold of a second-hand embarrassment. If she works better solo, then she must have even more tubular than I gave her credit for. She's a beast of a teammate as is. Huh. Touching. I'm once again asking you to direct me to the records room. Are you sure you don't know of its location? I know, you know how poor my work here is? Taking care of some snot and breaths or whatever. I'm pretty busy, lady. I might have been able to help you out if I was on break. But I'm not, so it sounds like someone's up the back creek without a paddle. I'm crying out loud. Fine. If you really do know, then take a break and lead. That does mean, though, that one of us will have to stay behind and cover to avoid stirring up suspicion. The children need to be supervised and entertained. I was thinking, without blinking an eye, Necron beams and gives you a solid thumbs up before looking at Glomer. Leave it to me. I'm almost 100% sure I can be one boss grub sitter. Casanova here can leave his job in my capable hands. I want to rush into this, Necron. There's a lot to consider. No, he's got this. Give him this. He's got this. Give him the suit. The worst he can do is get me fired by and excommunicated from the family. So you have at least one thing planned to celebrate Glomer in there, capable of sabotaging me. Now this battle's pretty much for living my sweet. I'm enacting justice on evil only. There's probably better candidates for substitute work out there. You're willing to admit that you maybe aren't one of them. Necron is friendly enough at least. You duly pass him the outfit and watch as he almost puts the head on backwards before Glomer spins the mask around for him. Thank you, Necron. Glomer, you're with me. Before you follow Glomer out the door, you feel a tap on your shoulder. I was being legit when I called you a killer partner. Wasn't blowing smoke up your ass. You know that, right? I know. I said it was touching. It wasn't a lie. I didn't even call you a partner, let alone a good one. It's reassuring. This is just as good as messing up your intended tone as always. You can't tell Necron's got a release. You can tell Necron's got a relieved smile on his face because behind those bullet eyes of his mask, as he extends his plush-covered hand to you. Gnarly, couldn't let you boogie out without knowing for certain. Call me when you can, Cecily. Oh my god, it even copies his fucking expression. Understood. Keep an ear out, partner. I love that, that's such a good detail. The two exchange a firm handshake before parting ways. Hallways are surprisingly dark as you stray further away from the schooling wing. Whereas before a single pebble on the ground would be a rare sight, the walls are now starting to give way to natural rocky formations. So focus on not bumping against glomer or the surrounding environment, you almost miss the investigation progress bar fading in on your visor. Or the insight increment, as it should be. It's been a while. You wonder where this thing was hiding all this time. There's a number of curious rooms on your way to the primary objective. Accoutrement golem charging stations, DNA storage facilities, a baffling amount of supply closets. You also right into the denomination list, while glomer stops you from barging into the newly made grub's initial testing. You can't help but remark how everybody freaks out over this monumental occasion where they pick their names, as if it's not just the first random 6 letters they assemble with dumb blocks. What's the big deal about them having 6 legs back when the mother grub rather them anyway? He erupts furiously. Folding's parasitic duplication works just fine, even better than those weird old scars we used to have. He goes on for a while, even after you dragged him away from the lodge in question. He just likes complaining, you guess. Oh, interesting. Eventually it happened upon the reduplication records room. Huh. What's the matter? Does something seem strange to you about this scene? Look, ignore the fact that this is my first time actually seeing this place. I'm not sure why the lights are off in this... why the lights are off if this thing is on. We're so stingy with the power here, you have no idea. If there's something funny about the system being on while enemies around? I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sure enough, the first thing that catches your eye in the dark, empty room is the illuminated computer screen. The second thing is the room itself. Given the corporate's penchant for sleek aesthetics, you find a juxtaposition. You're not sure how you find it. Amusing? Intriguing? Suspicious? We'll decide later. An oddity, but not an impossibility. My question is how to gain access to the database. The computer is apparently after a password. Yeah, that's usually how they work. Is this a dazzling new concept to you, actual chief regulator? I told you it wouldn't be the case, but that might be the Necron's wishful thinking rubbing off on me. I should have gotten somebody's case for not having one too far back. Anyway, do you have valid login credentials? Glomer shows over the console, slowing the molasses drip off a spoon, giving the screen a cold hard stare. There's only one password for this thing, but he clears his throat. They don't usually let me in here, so I don't know what for certain. Great. Don't give me that, regulator. I told you this is a first for me. It's probably on a post-it note or something. We just need to do a little searching. So you start doing exactly that, sifting through various drawers and cabinets around the room and making a point to leave no stone unturned. 3 minutes pass before either of you speak. This is unrelated to the task at hand, but I'm wondering something. Cool. You're being remarkably cooperative, all things considered. If you do not care for your position here, it's not quite the risk you're going through. Why is that? I mean, besides your shitty threats and time off my shit job? So, that's it? Not exactly. I don't know. And Daria said you helped him out, so... yeah, I guess that's why. You blink in surprise. Do you suppose you did help us, Morale? There's a beat of silence as you wait for him to elaborate, but he just drops the subject entirely. A sudden aha startles you out of your thoughts. Got it! You turn around just in time to see him being granted access to a frankly gargantuan wall of text and images. He also unearthed a note for you to glimpse before tucking back into the chunky computer monitor. Well, he pulled through for you. Nice find. I know a computer geek or two. Guess it's just universal practice. Or a real dumb coincidence. You don't nearly enough about computer people to dispute him, so you're obliged to take his word on it. You ring up Necron in order to tell him the good news. It'll take a few seconds, but he's on the line soon enough. You've reached Simpson. Any hoopla on your way over, or did you get by without any trouble? We're in the database. Ready to start looking for Noxious. That's righteous! We'll stick that bastard before you know it. Fail to comprehend the sheer volume of information helmed within. You give the computer an uneasy look. It threatens to make you feel faint. Also, Necron language. Thank the All-Mother for Glomer's presence, because you have no idea how to work this thing. You gesture to the machine with your head as you lean down to grab the mouse. You squint as you analyze the window. There are a few tabs on the top left. All, historic, new age, unused, retired? You can't imagine what would be the point of storing deprecated sigils in a populous database. The search bar on the top right. You suppose that's your best bet on finding a sigil ready to breaking down. Oh yeah, I get it now. You pick up the keys one by one as you hit Necron and entertain the kids through your speakers. I'm right here, you know. Like, just non-verbally asked me to do this for you. Do you need me or not? Are you really going to complain about not having to do any work? Touché. One letter at a time, results are culled from the pool. Sigils names like Base and Basil. Sigils belonging to Bronze Bloods. Sigils held by the Brellum bloodline. Soon you have the remaining search result. Glomer selects the sole choice presented. Your attention turns to... Name. Dissolve. You say it aloud for Necron's benefit, more than anything else. Guess we finally dissolved that mystery, huh? I will hang up on you. You just say Chugabunga Flop as your partner against crime? Glomer, shut the hell up before he hears you. Ah, come on, lighten up. This is a wicked breakthrough. We deserve to celebrate. This is a phone call. You don't know what face I'm making. You sure she's smiling so fucking hard to, trust me. I'll take your word for it. Now, tell me more. Cast. It's obvious that the sigil belongs to a green blood, considering this database is very conveniently colour-coded. That alone narrows it down quite nicely. Green-blooded. One with a hell of a personality fixation. Off-blooded, actually. I suppose like Clover or Ochre or some shit. Do you care for the specific colour code, then, Necron? With all due respect, what the egg are we going to do with the colour code? Glomer looks at you, waiting for your response. You consider, then shake your head. No. Hard pass. I've memorised it. I'm going to draw from that information later if we do end up requiring it. Glomer seems skeptical, but it doesn't protest the point. Tell me more. Shape type. This classification has always been something you've paid close attention to, unlike most other people. The shape type is a San2C. This should be useful when asking people who may have spotted Noxious. Hey you! Type of the face. San2C. What's the skinny on there? He's asking a child? Necron? Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely bothering all, but I'm gonna leave you real quick. I don't have the slightest clue what that means in the slightest. If I wasn't running on 120 minutes of sleep, I'd laugh. It's a 3-section system. Sans serif or serif, never strokes, curled or straight. This is just a sans serif, consists of 2 strokes and is primarily a curled sign. What? You don't know how to explain this in simpler terms when you're just being descriptive. This is frustrating. It should like a curly lowercase f, dude. Oh, right on. That's a copy. Tell me more. Tell you meanings. The subject is generally the wild card when it comes to information about sigils. Not every sigil has as pristine of historical record as others. Some have fallen into complete obscurity. You don't know about the topic, but you do know that the sigils are connected directly to specific bloodlines, at least. Let's give the paragraph presented to you. The mark of dissolution, now shortened to dissolve, represents the breaking down of matter, both physically and conceptually. Many bearers of the sigil were known to excel at teaching others due to their skill at passing knowledge through easily digestible lessons. Methods and intentions, however, were quite often incredibly controversial. There are records of such bearers being chased out of communities as a result of their predisposition towards bringing destruction and upheaval, for better or for worse, wherever they set foot. This is, of course, mostly anecdotal information that doesn't amount to anything substantial. Sigil meanings are a fun diversion for most people to enjoy discussing over cups of boiled monster, but they're nothing more than empty expectations based on genetic coincidences. If you cared about that, you would have given up a long time ago. Hey, you doing good? You good? Doing peachy? Oh, you forgot to say anything for a while there. Glomer apparently took the opportunity to pass out on the desk for a spell, because he jolts back to life, and wipes a little drool off his mouth, when Necron's voice pops up from your speaker. As soon as you said they come, I'm just being through, don't mind me. Go on, Cicely, don't leave me hanging over here. Tell me more. Tell me more, tell me more. Bearers. And that's your winning ticket. Your eyes immediately dart to the top of the list, where the most recent troll to bear the sigil is registered. Here we are. Oh, fuck's sake. We are about to get Noxious identified. Are you ready? Ormsey Mort is officially our lead suspect. 8 sweeps old, male. Okay, I don't know how to properly say his first name. I say Ormsey. I've actually got a picture of him for when his design was on the ballroom, but I can't really show that because spoilers. I know, I'll show it to everyone when we get to volume 11. 8 sweeps? 8 sweeps? Oshus is 8 sweeps old. How the hell is Ormsey able to pull a meaningful role in a heist all this elaborate? You were expecting some old retired mastermind with delusions of grandeur, someone you could clash blades with on a neon rooftop or ruined bunker after this elaborate of a chase. It turns out to be 8 sweeps old? He has to be hypocritical of you to hold Oshis at gunpoint and then proceed to underestimate someone much more malicious and calculating. Still, 8 sweeps. You feel very old and very tired. So that means he is 17. Literally, the guy who did all this is fucking 17. Wait, be right back. I need the toilet. Okay, back. We catch Egor murmuring the name under his breath a couple of times. First familiarise himself, then say it in utter contempt. Auntie. Then Wasteland is going down if it's the last card in my head. Mark my words. Hey, Cecily, I'm imagining trying to take him seriously if you're seeing what he's wearing right now. You flatly ignore Glomer snickering to himself as you consider your options. The main problem lies in tracking him down and confirming that he is noxious, without doubt. Yeah. And if it is him, we'll do more than just give him a background check. Yes, together. Seems to be all there is. I'll talk to you soon. Tubular! Catch you on the flip side, partner. As soon as you hang up, Glomer hisses at you, clinging to the desk like it's the only thing keeping me upright. Right, you found your phone, that's great. Now let's wrap this up before someone busts us. He's going to retreat out of his seat and around the corner in an instant. You can appreciate it. Playing it safe is often a prudent option. Something gives you pause, though. You're not going to pretend to realise the other thing you have the option of investigating while here. You might have been tossing the idea around since you walked into the room. Glancing over your shoulder, you quietly hang back by the computer. You're in a name search for Elsie Rains. Nothing. Not a single match, and you know damn well you're spelling her name correctly. The possibility of an alias runs through your mind. Well, if that was the case, why would she have kept Rains? It's as if she wasn't ever reduplicated. The implications confound you. You decide to check the retired sigils tab for any signs of her. Your cursor hovers over each result as you read down the chain, looking for any familiar symbols or iconography. The process takes you no longer than 3 minutes. You quickly find yourself in a rhythm, eyes darting between columns. Scorvi Orvalt, Cement. Gravel Hortz, Rust. Langua Memori, Bunsen. Thasal Vorat, Salt. Vurat, sorry. You're halfway through the next name before you backtrack. You've seen it before. That's the Forgiven's hatch name. You've heard of his tale, the right-hand man and follower of the Vivifier. His original sigil has always been a mystery, though, so much so that seeing an actual symbol next to his name feels slightly uncomfortable. Probably not as uncomfortable as he felt having it stripped from him, though. You erase your search history and leave the scene exactly as you found it. You've much to think about. Ormsey. No record of Elsie. The Vurat bloodline supposedly ending with Thasal and the simultaneous existence of another corn syrup-hued friend of Oshis. Time will tell how these threads converge. It was actually a mystery what the Forgiven's sigil was. So yeah, we have our question answered there. Jeez, lady, keep an exhausted mascot to slay without waiting much. What thought you managed to die by yourself in an empty room? Impaled her on a sword for some brutal Rube Goldberg shenanigans. What took you? I just got to log off, that's all. Where's Nikon? Is he still on duty? Check for yourself, I'm not here to be your visual impairment assistance, Lucis. He's almost right. Your vial is indeed somewhere else. Looking through the window, you're greeted by the sight of Bart, surrounded on all sides by the playroom kids, miming an undoubtedly epic story of boundless enthusiasm. What's more impressive is he's carrying a sleeping child with a single arm, while the little one remaining unperturbed even with all of his exaggerated movements and loud voice. They're all enthralled. You can pick up on a faint laughter through the wall as he wraps his tail up, presumably with a cheesy pun. He smirked just a bit. He's much better with kids than you ever gave him credit for. Looks like you made a good call. Call. That reminds you, Sadie wants to talk to you. You'll get back to him in a second. The kid's name brings up a probable link to him and Glomer to mind. You mentioned the name Krytum earlier. You're familiar with him? I don't think he did mention his name, actually. Oh, okay, so I'm just going to ask the invasive personal question out of the blue, then alright. Well, answer the question. I was getting to it. He's kind of my mate's, like that soulmate, so it'd be really weird happenstance if I didn't know the guy. What's it to you? I require his expertise. You're going to take me to him at the earliest opportunity, convenient or otherwise. You're met with yet another growing of aggravation. You're starting to think that he's just his default reaction to being told what to do. And you just love to tell me when I'm going to do things, no matter if I'm actually obligated to do it or not. I mean, yeah, important case or whatever, but I don't have the shit to do with it. And I highly doubt he does either, so what possible non-violent method could you use to convince me? You had a funny feeling you asked that question. There's no smile when you answer, but we do feel the familiar comfort of knowing you're about to play the right card. I can use this case to give you more time off work, as a matter of fact. Perhaps the sword will be more convincing. As predicted, Glomer's ears perk up. You still see hesitation in his eyes, but you've managed to pierce this nigh impenetrable wall of cynicism. Impenetrable. You failed to mention how you were briefly considering ratting him out to Hamithi. Alright, fine, I can make it happen. Perfect. Grant, you already know where Crichton lives thanks to your visit to Sabi's residence earlier. Having his mate's endorsement will help Matt significantly. You've heard tell that he's somewhat of a nervous wreck. Better safe than sorry. Excellent. I'll touch base with you when I have further details. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a phone call to make. Yeah, fine. If Funkinator 5000 over there is content to do my job for me, I've got some complete lack of sleep I've been not getting for the past blink to catch up on. I've been in the closet contemplating my life choices if you need me. And before I forget, Hamithi had some assignments for you to complete before. Yeah, party playing shit, I know how it is. She always gives me instructions like 3 times over because I act like I'm not listening. When really, she just scares the shit out of me. I guess we'd have to have until passing out. Back at 5. Whatever you say. You're pretty sure Glomer's not supposed to be napping inside the closet, but he sure is nonchalantly waltzing in anyway. You start to hear snoring a whopping 10 seconds later. You're equally unconvinced that 5 minutes will provide him any semblance of rest, but you've technically functioned on less, so what do you know? Well, Necron's busy entertaining children and Glomer's out of commission. There's no better time to get back to Sabine. Give him a ring and keep an eye out for Hamithi through the break room window.
Cecily Alethea Eopara!
Did you just get aside a middle name?
You have some nerve making me wait like this, threatening to waste my valuable and precious time. You're lucky you yourself are also on a mission to rescue this planet from the dregs of disaster.
Hello, Sabine. What was it you just called me? Lethea?
Lethea?
How do you even spell it? There's no way there's only 6 letters, and near relevant practice. You don't want to say it, but the fact that middle names are as cultural norms haven't been around since long before you were hatched is perhaps a bit insulting.
It's obviously cooler to have fake middle names to break convention. Do you think I enjoy partaking in foolish traditions other people set up? I mean, duh.
Oh, I'm worthy of a cool fake middle name. A cool fake middle name, then.
I begrudgingly accept you as an individual with equal intellect. Don't let it get to your head. You're probably nearly old enough for an eight-letter title anyway, old person. As touched as you are, you've been at this for far too long and would love to just get to the point. Is this pertaining to my neural scan? Are there over 1,200 unique recorded forms of bacterial infection via falling rainwater? You swear nobody knows how to say plain and simple yes these days. Talk to me. What are those individuals discussing back at the award ceremony? About that. See, there was extreme interference that prevented my software from deciphering one of the voices. The data was pretty corrupted. This strongly suggests that they were using some form of voice masking or modulation system despite being into the party. So it could be so freaking paranoid. That sounds your mood somewhat, but at least you could strongly suggest that your little mystery caller, Ormsey, had attended the party. God, it feels like good to have this information. Tell me about the other voice then. You sound like you managed to extrapolate something interesting. Not incorrect. The informant appears to have access to some form of real-time database, having log-on deals that allow her to maneuver assistance from within. She claims that her prices would be so astronomical if the information wasn't so legitimate. This is no instance of illegal entrance. This woman has a corporate salary. Okay, so you had a hunch that it was corporate employee the whole time, but you appreciate the confirmation regardless. You know what, Cecily? I think you know deep down who it is, but you just don't want to acknowledge it. Okay, it is kind of obvious who it is. They don't try and hide how obvious it is who it is. There's always the possibility of leaked login information, but you stay quiet, waiting for it to continue speaking. Hello, Robert on the Regulator. Helping you solve your case here.
Of course, I didn't want to have all the facts before I came to any conclusions. Was there any confirmation of the integrity of that root data?
Was there ever? The other party brought up quite an impressive resume of previously leaked information. Crime tracing back sweeps. However much free time you have, I am about to annihilate it mercilessly and gleefully.
I'm all ears. Spare no detail. I'll look for common threads next time I have access to the records.
Now listen, chronological, alphabetical, or priority?
Chronological, obviously.
Correct answer. Let's start with the Dr. Demento scandal.
and that was Glomer's route. Okay, not as long as I thought it would be. That was quite long, actually. How long? An hour and a quarter. So I'll just get straight to Snare and take a break when I get tired enough, because this one is pretty long as well. Now we have Snare Montour. I kind of struggled to tell whether she was a red blood or a bronze blood, but yeah, she's a red blood. A long time ago, you could have walked through these the trees outside of here like she does. A past self would have visited the forests and cities she walks on every case, and maybe she would have ended up in some faraway land, reminiscent of the lives your ancestors lived in kingdoms with small towns and little hives. You often wonder if you would have been the same person in those times. Would you work the same profession? Would grieving trolls show up at your doorstep, begging for you to save them time and time again? This is dirt on her face when you open the door. Mud on her boots. They said when the trees died in Stronghold 21, they died almost all at once. There was a diffusive effect from the pollution in the waterways that worked its way into the rain, and when it came down it scorched the dirt in the city. History books will tell you that in the span of the less than half a sweep, a chemical manufacturer generated enough waste to raise 70% of the plant life in the stronghold to the ground. They would pay trolls to replace the dead trees every season, sweep after sweep, just to dig out the rot and make it new again, until all that was left was a smattering of plastic and polymers. The back of her coat is covered in soot, like she's been riding through coal mines, or through the sweet streets just outside. There were times, they say, when the cold wouldn't last forever, and the suns could ever be pleasant things. Even. Trolls lived simpler lives back then, politicking, jockeying for power over a vigorous populace. But her brow is tense now, and she wears that pseudo-stoic face that she borrows from her heart has had enough, when she's begging it to hold itself together. You have seen that face so many times. I need you. I know.
Every damn time. Pardon?
Okay. Just for context, we are Mashiri in this perspective. She pulls herself up from under the hood. The truck she's working on is new, or rather new to her, seeing as she found it wrecked in an old parking lot about 40 expanses from here. It's nothing. Wrong wrench. And back under she goes. She reaches her arm out to the side, dropping the offending spanner onto what is effectively a surgical tray on wheels. Without looking, she digs through the disorganised pile of tools here to find a replacement. Did you just come here to watch me work? I mean, not that that's a problem, obviously. She goes with exertion, clearly putting the correct wrench to good use. But lately, kind of seems like your time is in high demand. I was trying to wonder if I had the chance to compete for it. I'm sorry you felt that way. Well, we're all sorry for something. I'm hoping you're here with good news, at least. I could really use a pick-me-up. Did something happen? No, but I have a feeling something's about to. And you know, your phone call has a lot to do with that feeling. Are you implying I only gave you bad news? I'm implying that you haven't contacted me in over a blink. I was wondering what the special occasion is. We've had this conversation before, I think. If you're upset with me, then you are welcome to say so in plain words. Otherwise, I won't be able to address your concerns. You know, for someone who spent sweeps in the mountains mastering the senses, you can be incredibly dense. It's like I'm being punished for reaching out to you. Can you see why that may cause a person to react poorly? She actually stops working this time. Her arms went to the sides of the truck. I was kidding. I think I have the right to be upset if I want to be. She turns around. Her brow is arched, and she's standing with that half-cocked pose she does that may as well be a dare. I know. You do. She smirks. Damn right I do. No more cancelled dates, alright? Whatever's going on, you gotta let me in. You nod. When she holds her arms open, you fall into them as quickly as you can. I'm really glad to see you. I am sorry, by the way. I meant to call you sooner. Don't worry about it. I'm not in the mood to play that card anymore. You're lucky you're so cute. And dangerous. Of course. Didn't it even need to be said? Okay, I'm starting to realise how I struggle with my girl voices, unless it's like posh, like Cecily, or Mashiri, or Hamifi. And even then they all sound a bit similar, the voices I do for them. She lets you go with a kiss. She won't hold a grudge against you, but you still feel a little guilty, especially since you came here at Cecily's request. Why did you come here again? Recall, name on tour. Your recall ability fails, only Cecily can use his ability. That's a bit embarrassing, but no need to worry, you have your ways. Read Sinem Montour. Sinem Montour is one hell of a mechanic. She has connections all over Repeton's less reputable circles outside the city, and not because she's disreputable herself. Rather, she just wouldn't be caught dead in the stronghold these days. She hates corporate, and with good reason. Despite this, her past mixed with her present makes her the perfect cocktail of information relating to the corporate-owned trucking business. From what she's told you, she's got eyes on personnel, distributors and their products, schedules, and most importantly, route data, the kind of information Cecily needs to follow up on her tips from the award ceremony. Says it also happens to be your mate spirit. Your mate spirit doesn't appreciate that you've been blowing her off for Repton's star regulator. She wears a disappointment on her face in several ways, even through a smile. She's trying to be pleasant for your date. You scold yourself a bit for neglecting her as much as you have been. It's not fair of you to keep letting yourself get caught up in Cecily's messes. Snare's given you every opportunity to show her you're serious about being with her. You think it's time her patience paid its dividends. What about the case? Guess what about it? It's only been at the centre of your attention since Cecily came bursting through your door, half dead and paranoid. Again. If Snare was polite enough to remind you, you've had to cancel your reinstates to juggle her burglary work with your work. You agreed to do it, sure, but only because she was spinning out on her own. Cecily is brilliant. Usually. You love her immensely, but she really does seem to think she can operate alone. This threat she's facing now might just be too much for her to handle, as predictable as she can be. Maybe you should go back. There's some contacts you could pull up for her. Maybe find her a few more teammates she can tolerate, so she doesn't go careening into another depressive nosedive. What about Snare? Ah, yeah. Focus, Shiri. Now is not the time. Cecily can wait. If the topic of the case comes up organically, you'll ask Snare about the route dates like she's asked you to. Until then, your attention will be on your mate spirit. These moments are supposed to be what life is all about, after all. Also, look. There's to the left you can see Sepros' bike. Sepros is Snare's Moriel, I believe. If you've read Thaumatrope, you'll know who Sepros is. Or if you just looked at Zam's Toy House page. Snare's garage is in a study in heuristics. It presents an easy way to form an opinion about who she is. Messy floors, messy tables, walls covered in old calendars, posters with cars that feature a peculiar aesthetic more fitting of 10 sweeps ago. It's life of displacement, disordered. But if you take the time to look a little deeper, you'll start to notice a pattern in the chaos. And under that, you'll start to see that it was never really a mess at all. It's a self-portrait. See, Snare lives alone in the middle of nowhere. It's not that she can't keep up, it's that she has no one to impress anyone anymore but herself. And that works for her. Works for even you more. You even more. You love Cecily, which demands a lot from you, and she demands that you hide a lot of yourself. Oh, that poster. Yeah, cars. She tends to rely on her heuristics. Just as she chose to judge Snare on appearance alone, she's taken to deciding who you are these days based on personal convenience. It's easy that way for most of your clients, you suppose. That was everything you, was it? You know, I was almost hoping to see you in your robes today. I wondered if you would have times changed since you came here right after work. Do you not like the leather? What a ridiculous idea. Do I not like the leather? You look cool as hell in leather, Shiri. It's more like... Okay, you ever see those videos where a tiny little Barbie tears up a burglar like nobody's business? Some of my clients like them, yes. Oh, just spat everywhere. Ugh. It's like that. Sort of like a morbid fascination. I like thinking that I'm the only one who knows what you're actually capable of. Are you hoping I'll snap and chew up my bosses? A maiming or two would be nice if it's not too much to ask. You can feel her grinning, even if you can't see it. She closed the hood of the truck to feel it with something on the windshield. I'll take it into consideration. Well, like entertaining morbid fascinations after all. Is that why you keep the cop around? Something like that. You can certainly be morbidly fascinating at times. Is that what you're calling it now? Does she even know you come out here? Shift a bit. You're hoping to drag this out a bit longer. She does now. What's that supposed to mean? It doesn't have to be now. But at some point she and I were meaning to ask you some things. She throws her head down slowly, makes a deep thud when it hits the hood. Is she here somewhere? Does she follow me? Of course not. She turns around to face you, clearly disappointed. I knew she'd be hard to manage. You would have to see her. That's not really the problem though, is it? The chick's a cab, Shiri, with a capital C. C standing for corporate in this case. Despite a bizarre choice of words, you want to agree with her. You hate corporate almost as much as she does. You know better than anyone how suffocating that place can be. Remember how you met Snare. Those days she smoked even more than she does now, if that can be believed. It suited her. She was a big name for a while around the offices. You even remember sitting in the conference room with her a few times while she worked her way up the corporate ladder. Back then, the most you knew of her was that she seemed nice, if not a bit aggressive, and she always seemed to be chewing on some smoking filter and one of the caustic candy cigarettes. When the time came for you to sit down with her one-on-one, she had just been promoted to a leading position in the fiscal responsibility department. Her office was filled with dim, ambient light and syrupy, acrid stench of burnt sugar. She was intoxicating. She must have caught you staring because she flashed you a wry smirk as she asked you to close the door. Don't worry, this is just a formality, she had said. I'm trying to check a couple of numbers with you. You had to resist asking to check hers. For that would come later. You started acting as Sinear's chief source of information about some of the more elusive tidbits around the temp agency, and once or twice you may have slipped in a few personal details, as long as you never seemed to mind. You told yourself that you weren't looking for a mate spirit, but as monstrous breaks turned into lunch dates under the guise of business meetings, it became painfully obvious to anyone watching that you were smitten. She couldn't have guessed it from her smirky eyes, or you couldn't have guessed it from her smirky eyes, but under it all, she was burning away. You never could have asked the details, but you've heard all about it from second-hand sources. Apparently she looked into the books of some of her less inclined colleagues and found something sinister. After that, there were 3 phone calls. The first ended in a shouting match, the second with the vitriol, the likes of which the office had never seen. The third ended with when she stormed the office of the executive and had to be escorted from the building by none other than Miss Cecily Eopara herself. When you found her, she was sitting on the curb with makeup running down her cheeks. Miss Sherry, you're the only goddamn thing in there worth saving, she told you. You're the only thing here that ever made any fucking sense at all. You asked her what you could do. She asked you to stay with her. So you did. Hello? Ripped onto Libida. You snap out of it, finding her standing face to face with you. What happened to paying attention? I apologise. I was lost in thought. Her arms covered in dark stains from her work on the engine, which now happened to be humming with life. Where did that happen? She grins at you. You like it? It's incredibly impressive. A real laurel of technical prowess with every endeavour I witness. I'm really so lucky to see a woman like you in action. Want to take it for a spin? She presses a button on a panel attached to the wall. With rusty complaints, the garage door scrapes open. Are we done talking about Cecily? We're here until you bring her up again. She makes her way around into the driver's seat. The truck's door is there. It's equally as rusted as the garage. By the sound of it, the adhesive attaching it to the frame is made out of craft glue and prayers. Are you sure it's safe? I guess we'll find out. She shifts into first gear and the truck begins to move. Okay, I was just away just then. Almost fell down the fucking stairs. Jesus. Tap, 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 tap. One palm and then the other. These are the thoughts in your head. None of them make any sense. One thing, then the next move. One step at a time. Tap, 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 tap. Urgh. You give up. Your nails dig into your arm. Are you actually here? You're just dreaming this all up. Is that junior regulator looking at you funny? What are you going to say to him when you get there? When he sees you? You're still the same as you were before. So when he gave you your sword, your license to kill, you're still good enough to face him. You pull at your skin. Focus. You can do this. You've been planning for this meeting. Why did she have to die? Is it your pirate? The executive will see you now. It's time. Step into the elevator. It's been a long while since you took it all the way to the top. I feel like your brain is on fire. There are a number of ways it could go, and it's been hell trying to plan for all the possible contingencies. The executive, Sestra's still living ancestor, doesn't take many meetings these days. The topic must be incredibly important for him if he's willing to risk you contaminating his room. This may be your last chance to see him, you think. He's barely hanging on. So why are you so scared of him? The elevator slows. When it opens, you're greeted with a dark space lit only by maroon light from under the panels in the wall. It's small. Its only real purpose is to serve as a transition between the elevator and an airlock, the sterilization chamber. The walls surrounding the airlock are made of glass. From where you stand, backlit against the elevator's interior, you can see his bed. At his side, a woman in a lab coat is injecting something into his IV. You step into the room. The elevator doors close behind you, leaving you in the near darkness. A trembling arm lifts itself to brush against the doctor's coat. She glances up to meet your eyes, then keys something into a device on the wall near the airlock. When the doors slide open, you step inside quickly. It closes behind you, and the chamber shines with deep blue and UV light. The doctor's voice crackles through a speaker in the ceiling. Arms at your sides, please. You follow the instructions. A pungent spray mists from the nozzles within the walls, hidden in the walls. When you deactivate, you find yourself slightly damp. I assume you know how to put on the mask. A panel slides to the side. Behind it is a box of surgical masks. You grab one and slide it over your mouth. The doctor enters another combination into the wall panel, and some of the air in the room is vacuumed away. As the pressures equalise, the door to the executive's room slides open. So, this is Sestra's ancestor. Seeing him for the first time ever, actually, here. Yeah. I believe sprays drew this sprite. These sprites. You step inside. Every plan you made leaves your head as you approach the bed of the man who bargained away your mate's life. When he sees you, his ancient face splits into a cracked smile. Regulator Eopara. I'm glad you could make it. Oh dear. The doctor stands at attention. Sir. Leave us. But, open the blinds first. She nods. A few quick taps on the keypad and the wall to the left segments and rotates on too many axes to reveal the night sky outside. The room sinks into pale moonlight and indigo. When you look back to her, she has already gone. Before we begin, thank you for taking time off of Operation Snowbound Blood for this discussion. Thank you for your continued labour on this case despite your reservations. You know how important this is to the heir and Miss Heckricks. Thank you for putting them first. It's before they were even hatched. I couldn't hold it against them. This reminds me, Regulator Eopara. Miss Heckricks provided me with this week's reduplication registry, and I again didn't find your name. It would bring an old man great comfort to know his heir will never live in a world without an Eopara by his side. Have you reconsidered contributing? You grew up in the ruins my ancestor left, sir. I'm sure you understand my reticence. Arkamu was loyal. He fulfilled his duty. And I've been too. I've pierced the beating hearts of whoever stood between you and your visions for this world. Arkamu was repaid for his loyalty and blood and loss. He is remembered as a monster. I've begun to fear I'll share that legacy. May I see it? The executive is gesturing at your hip, at Proserpina. His hand is shaking, with a pulse-measuring cuff on a finger and a medical tube shaking around his arm. His face is worn from eras as Repeton's protector, and yet his eyes are always glistening with pride when you are in the room. Fuck, not again. When you were young, nothing made you more certain you were on the right path in life. Now, you're not so sure. You gently draw the sword and turn it to hand and hilt first. He takes it in his trembling hands and turns it over, slightly sighing wistfully. After Caesar's death, Zelos destroyed most of his followers' cherished artifacts, but this blade survived. Perhaps the finest of its era. You gave it a new name and a new purpose. He meets your eyes, squinting and determined. You do not live in his shadow, nor would another live in yours. Regardless, we have business to discuss, don't we, Regulator? Yes, sir, we do. He hands your sword back to you, then softly sighs, closing his eyes. There's little I have left in this world, Regulator Eopara. The planet I rebuilt has long since been torn apart again. This matter I've asked you to look into, this case. It's time I told you the truth about it. It's time you understand the truth about Operation Snowbound Blood. What a stupid name. Oh, we're getting Sinea's theme now. Ooh. Makes me think it's blood could ski or something. Unfortunately, it's not as trivial as it sounds. It's an unmitigated disaster that has led to around 25 deaths or more at this point. I won't put you in such an awkward situation for anything less. Snap whistles in disbelief. Yeesh, no kidding. Cecily's gone and fucked it all up, I'm guessing. Well, I wouldn't say that. She seems to be fixated on following the orders of the exact person trying to kill her. Cute. Always a pragmatist, you're more. She's suffering. She's doing the best she can to save the other targets. Right, I get it. She's been driving on the highway for a few expanses now. The roads are ramshackle things full of craters and displaced asphalt, so at times the ride feels a bit like a wooden roller coaster. A solitary road sign which labels the stronghold P3P51, which apparently is still around 223 expanses away. So what is it you need from me? Recently, a troll was able to discover something hidden in Cecily's memory. It was a conversation mentioning the illegal trade of stolen route data from a hijacked truck. She and I thought you might know something about how such data was acquired. Or one of your clients might. Usually you'd have to go through corporate's internal network to find that kind of dirt. Someone who's been in the trucking business for a while would maybe know enough to know enough about that system and get in and steal it, though. Do you know anyone like that? Not for a regulator, I don't. It's an heir. This really is important. So is my reputation as, not a narc. Besides, I'm sure your little Miss Schlock can sleuth down on her own. Sherlock. She pulls out onto an exit. The scenery changes from barren to lush in almost an instant. I understand you hate her. I understand the two of you have had your differences, but this is bigger than that. You're acting like a spoiled wriggler. Yeah, go ahead and tell me what you understand, Mishiri. It's become pretty fucking obvious that you don't understand anything at all. I understand that you refusing to act here could save lives, could cost lives. Ugh, why? No, your little wage slave lapdog of Moriel is costing lives. I want no obligation to help her. So now, please. She drags on a cigarette. Do you even know the kind of shit she does? I know she does it for good reasons. At least she believes they are good reasons in her heart. You think that justifies anything? If I intend to kill a spider with my truck and end up ramming it through your hive, if I intend to make that okay? That seems like a faulty analogy. Hardly. You sigh hard. Out the window, dense forest had been working away at the pavement on the sides of the road. So if you sit in silence for a painful few moments, you can hear the sound of her blowing the smoke from her lungs. I hate to say this, Sherry, but she really sucks for you. You don't respond. It's like this is the first time this topic has been broached. She reaches out with her hand to you. You take it in yours begrudgingly. Remember when we used to do volunteer work? Still checking at the shelter from time to time. You do remember. People culprit with fire, people the city decided couldn't be of use anymore. A lot of them would end up struck with no food and no home, satelliting their stronghold. After Sanel lost her job, she took it upon herself to see that none of them went hungry. She spent hours at this run-down homeless shelter, maybe not even for herself, but for the meditative state it put her in. She'd bring you along sometimes. It always struck you to how similar it seemed to therapy for her. It struck you even more just how many people there were that had lost everything. You ran your thumb over the back of her hand. Some of the people I met there didn't make it. Maniacs started using the place to find fodder for their fight clubs. And corporate just lets it happen, because they got rare blood. If I got put out like that, Cecily would let me get killed. You know that, right? Funny you mention that. He just finished killing a fair amount of murder maniacs. I heard about this. Part of the case, right? I lost a couple of clients in that fight. I think that shows you that Cecily isn't a monster. I mean, sure, but there was something in it for her bosses this time, right? You remember hearing about Cecily's injuries after that fight? She and Yakon fought to within an inch of their lives. That approach is needlessly cynical. She doesn't fight for materialism. Yeah, no, I don't doubt that Cecily has some good things, Sherry. That's not what I'm saying, You know how many missing person reports I filed when the shelter started losing people? Oh, nobody came. Not even your girl. She was on other cases, fighting other cults at the time. Not to mention the several extraction operations I'm aware of specifically related to Mythomaniac's rings and red rooms. Successful ones, they go in every time with silk gloves on. Because I know for a fact that extraction protocol states that high-bloods are not to be killed outside of self-defense. Kinda defeats the purpose of pulling out anyone out, doesn't it? I'm aware of successful extractions. So the cult members that, don't kill out, go out and kidnap someone else instead. Corey just picks the ones he'd like to save and my friends would call it dad, right? Cecily isn't involved in that. She gives you a look. Listen, the point I'm making is not that Cecily is overly sympathetic to Mirthmaniacs, or any other freak show band of backwater hooligans you're about to throw my way. The point is that their bosses are. And from the few interactions I've had with the gal, I'd say she's not big on defying orders. Corporate didn't help the people out here when they had needed it. So not helping corporate. Simple as that. There's a lot of really important, messages in this route, as you can very obviously tell. The road turns to gravel, driven far away from civilization. If you consider it in a favour for me instead. If you help just this once, I'll be deeply grateful. I'm scared for her and for everyone involved. She seems to consider that. She runs her fingers along your hand, squeezing gently at times. I'll think about it. For now, I want to show you something. The truck squeaks to stop at a patch of rough ground off the side of the forest. Follow me. She pulls the keys from the ignition, then disappears into the tree line, following a thin, overgrown nature trail. You step out of the truck to follow her. Our entire lives, this whole planet, my empire, has been nothing but a preamble. We exist as scribes of code for a bitter game regulatory Opara, and it is the only thing worth fighting for. I don't understand. There we go. I doubt you would, but know this. I know there's nothing we can do to avoid fate. You and I are destined for morbid ends. Your ass out a dry cough. Do you know how old I am, Regulator? I don't, sir. I am 144 sleeps old. Nonsense, sir. You look a day over 100. He cracks a grin. A pathetic laugh emanates from somewhere in his throat. And the blood. Do you know where it comes from? Of course, sir. It comes from the Vivifier. The animator she could be called. The Life Giver. She was a remarkable woman. Sakura was her real name. I mentioned you to her before she died. How is that, sir? She died over 100 sweeps ago. He laughs again. It drags against his vocal cords. And yet the blood you are searching for, the blood you have killed to find, is only 19 sweeps old. You feel a shock in your core. Reigns. She has a descendant. Yes, but I am forbidden to touch her. But you've been stealing her blood? Stealing her blood? Not hers. If 100 sweeps has been Sakura's blood flowing in my veins, the value you are searching for is merely the end of a centuries-long experiment. Which means... the Vivifier died less than 10 sweeps ago, Regulator. What? This whole time you've been leading me on? In essence, yes. It was necessary. Then who is Elsie Reigns? Elsie is the beginning of the end for us. She is an exchange, at times a bargaining piece. She is the most important person on the planet. You can't respond. You can only wait for him to continue. Sakura and her partner, Thesar, came to me in the aftermath of a great suffering, where it seemed no hope remained in the hellscape the Renaissance left behind. And from ruin, I became the catalyst of the greatest revolution in history. When the ground was empty of anything worth hoping for, I transmuted the ground into something new. I led by example, and as alchemists, we rebuilt Repeton from nothing. I was not just a leader regulator, I was a messiah, and they needed me. It was without my help the descendants could never be born. And in return, she gave me her blood, and I lived on. The time came where I could not stall any longer. And on the day Elsie Reigns was born, the Vivifier perished. The cloud shifts over the white moon, room drenched in midnight blue. She left me with what remains of her blood. I survive through her will. This last vial, what is left of her, and of me. When you find it, I would like you to give it to my heir. He'll be taking my place soon. I've grown so tired of living. Your knees have been locked this whole time. Your head is pounding. Does Sestro know? He doesn't. He knows none of what I have told you. Only that Elsie is of highest priority. I would ask that you keep it that way. You nod. If Sestro knew, how could that benefit him? It would only drown him in guilt. Regulator. Sir, would you indulge me for a moment? I'd like to discuss some thoughts with you. I'll take your silence as an invitation. He turns to face the window, just like his descendant. His eyes scan across the great expanses of stars above. In my time on this planet, I have known so many people. I have loved many of them. But each life, each indelible moment I have held in my mind is proof of something far greater than myself. My reasons to stay alive. Well, I've seen all of them die, and forgotten where most of them are buried. I'm sorry, sir. In my younger days I dreamed of space. I used to believe in an eternity above our heads. I would build rockets in my mind, soon drifting to worlds greener than this. This great beyond. It was the spirit of progress. It was hope for something better. The ships I built had never returned. Brilliant minds were lost to a cold vacuum. And the only things left of those programs now are brittle memories that serve no one and nothing. Testaments to failure. I'm nothing but an anachronism, Cecily. I lingered here, knowing that I was lingering for nothing. I persisted to search for fragments of a time when I was naive. Spent my life waiting for the right moments. But I'm realizing now that there was never a right moment for any of it. This planet spins on, and more people die each day. But your life can still mean something. That's why I called you here. I'm going to wait to see what will come of your investigation. The things you have found, the players involved. I cannot afford to wait any longer. I need you to do something for me. His eyes break from the window to catch yours. When this case ends, you'll find Reigns and the descendant of Thesal Vurat, and you will protect them with your life. Refusal of this mission could result in the death of Repeton. My position of Chief Regulator will be terminated, yes. This task is strictly off record. Your contacts will be monitored as well. Your hands are shaking like his are. Your thoughts drift to Oceus. Do you feel capable of continuing your work? I do, sir. Good. You are dismissed. Send Rodair back in when you go, please. Turn to face the airlock, but you can't move. This is so wrong. Everything about this is so wrong. You need to ask him. You can't keep going without knowing. Turn back around to face him. Sir? He looks at you. His eyes tell you he was expecting this. I wanted to ask you about Alina. What time is it? Okay, I've got 20 minutes left to finish this before the kids get back. I keep saying the kids like they're my kids. They're not my kids. They're my siblings. Two of you stumble out of the woods together. The hike wasn't a long one, but the trail was dense with foliage due to the sweeps of disuse. See? What did I tell you? Totally worth it. In front of you is the most natural landscape you've ever seen in the 8 sweeps of your professional life. It's beautiful. It seems to stretch on forever. I had no idea this place even existed. So close to the stronghold. How is this? Here? I'll admit, it's a bit of a forced perspective. This cliff just happens to be the perfect spot to view what's left of this place. Well, if you can tell, it's starting to come back. Not much, but it's a start. I had a feeling you'd like it. Pardon me. It reminds me of my time at the Temple of the Mediators. There's a place in the Alpine foothills like this. As you watch, she brings her arm around your shoulder and pulls herself closer to you. Do you miss it? It's time with the Mediators, you mean? It's time outside of the city. You had your whole life ahead of you. The horizon in front of you is beginning to blend into the first signs of day. I do. So much. You know, there's a place for us out there. We don't have to stay orbiting the stronghold for the rest of our lives. It's an air. So much left to do here. I know, but when it's over. When the case is done, maybe. You huff. She notices. I know I haven't been easy to deal with today. I'm sorry for that. I can't let my personal stuff get in the way. I'm not mad at you for your convictions. If it were up to me, I would never have been involved in this case. But it wasn't up to me. I just want people to stay safe. And I need you to be on my side on this. She spends a moment staring out at the canopy of life below. Vapours from at the end of her cigarette spiral in the breeze, disappearing into the shattered atmosphere. Alright. Ask me anything you need to know. Fuck, not again. It's not obnoxious. The name sounds familiar. I definitely haven't met the guy personally, but I've heard through the grapevine that he's a pretty tough customer. Charged with harassment, baiting, fraud, all to get unstable folks to walk off the deep end, right? Yes, that's him. Fuck that guy. Agreed. She takes another pull from her cigarette, which is nearing the end of its life. She pulls it from her mouth, pulls it out of the side of her boot, and eats the candy-coated filter. I heard a lot of talk about this guy. Ashbringer too. He says he's working with the cop. Scares the shit out of some of my seedier clients. He partnered with your girl? Yes. His name is Necron. Two of them are hunting Noxious together. Now that's the least something I can respect. I would have thought that Cecily O'Para would partner with an unlicensed vigilante. I think there's hope for her yet. Do you have faith in Necron to make the right decisions? I have faith in Necron's ability to do what he thinks is right. Which dare I say is a step up from Cecily's MO. It makes a good influence on her. Keeps her grounded. Oh, Cecily. Face waxes somber as you think about the past few blinks. Do you think she can get better? One of the things she can get away from corporate someday. Find herself as she was before she lost her mate spirit. Do you think that's possible? Snare's face is sympathetic. I think she could. I like to think she could. I think deep down she knows what's right, and that counts for something. Maybe she could leave the city. She told me of this farm she found with a group of children. There's one in particular she spoke to who said they traded food in exchange for sovereignty. She said they were committed to non-violence. That's so sweet. I don't think Cecily can't choose to be good. A lot of times you're right. But I don't think I've ever seen her so proud of someone before. She really loved them and eventually hated what she was. Maybe you can talk her into going back when she's done with this. I think she would like that. Oh. She takes out another cigarette. Ask about how the date was stolen. I can think of a couple of ways it could happen, but this is one that's foolproof. Way back in the day, there was a backdoor in the corporate data network that could be accessed through the GPS tech they put in their trailers. There's some bad program in the account indices that'll let anyone with a trigger's license make an admin account. Most folks who took advantage of it got rooted out pretty early because they thought it'd be funny to fuck up the schedules with like bulls jokes and shit. And some others figured they could cheat the system and assign themselves easy jobs. But I wouldn't be surprised if some people still had access to it. There's no way corporates walks away from that biblical screw without coming back to bite them. This is useful data, kind worth paying for. You wouldn't believe the kinds of particulars you could pull for those credentials. Any truck, any cargo, any time. Central could take a shit and mail it and you'd know. Gross. What the fuck's in there? Could you think anyone's suspicious? Perhaps a client who seemed to be too informed. Not off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of my regulars. Well, actually, wait, there is one person. God, what's her name? What was her name? She crosses her arms and stares off into the distance, trying to remember. Remind me about this when I get back to my shop. I might know of someone you can look into. She looks back to you. For anything else, was that all you needed? You ask about how Snail lost her job. You really want to know? I feel like it would just make you sad. Oh, not this bit's gonna be with it, you know. Would make me seem like an ass. You don't have to tell me. You don't understand what you've been through. Sure. Okay, here goes. So when I was pretty young, I was spending a lot of time wandering at nights. Trying to figure out how far I could stretch my survival ability, so I tried to stay awake for as long as possible. I'd pick a direction, then just walk for hours to kill time. Your survival ability lets you stay awake, right? Right. Well, this one night, I'd walked farther than I ever walked before. I was excited, right? My little kid brain was like, what if I find something no one's ever seen before? And walking all the way to the depths. There were these, like, mountains of garbage. These massive piles of shit people threw away that washed back up on the shore. It smelled awful. Like you wouldn't believe. But just before I turned to book it, I heard someone. Have you ever heard what someone sounds like when they can't scream anymore? They've been yelling for hours. It's like this rasping, heaving noise. Crying and choking all at once. I the door shore and then... There was this guy down there. One of the mountains had shifted and he got his leg run in by this old metal wiring. So he's bleeding into the sand and... She takes a breath. There's the guy just watching him. Waiting for him to die. This guy down there saw me and he pointed at me and kept trying to yell. I think I must have got freaked out or something. Because when he saw me, he too jumped and started digging around in the guy's clothes. He just stole his money and ran away. I kept on trying to scream for me to help him, but I was so scared, and I ran away too. Oh God, Sinead. I know. I was so stupid. I didn't know what to do. I kept getting older, and I kept telling myself, well, I was never going to become like that. I was not going to be like that, you know? I was going to have money. I was going to be important enough that someone could come for me. So as I was old enough, I applied to work at corporate. And I gave him everything. So this is my life. They asked me to do some awful things to people. I didn't even think twice about it. I was going to be important enough that someone would come. When I went, I just got promoted to the big leagues. And it was so weird because no one was there was any better than the place I'd been before. They were all just people. People did horrible things. And I was one of them. But you weren't horrible, Sherry. You help people. One day they told me I was going to have to cut corporate assistants to, like, low priority individuals. And I was like, what the hell does that mean, low priority? It just meant people like me. People they could afford to replace. And I was going to do it. I had the phone in my hand. I started thinking about that guy who just watched someone die just to take his money. And I couldn't do it. I called my boss back and told him to stick it. We just passed it on to someone else and they cut it anyway. I swear I screamed for hours when I found out. I started thinking, like, why did anyone come for me now? What have I done to deserve being saved? I think the thing to do was go to the executive about it. And, well, you know how that turned out. You lean into her. She pulls you close. You know, for a while I was worried that you liked Cecily better than me because she wasn't already fucked. The difference between me and her was that she was still fine and I had already gave up. But you didn't give up. No, you're right. I know that now. It's hard for me to get out of that headspace. She's so much like I was. For a moment, the two of you are silent, but Sinead quickly shakes off her funk. Phew, alright, now that's over. Ask me something else. Give me another one, Sherry. Oh, is that it? Well, I did want to ask you one other thing. Shoot? You guys ask about is Sinead serious about leaving? Yeah, I think I am. I mean, not that you, of course. I think it would be really good for me to get out of there. You would be worried about leaving everything behind? Well, that's just it. I don't really have much left here. I can't find a bunch of truckers to work with anywhere. The only thing I want to stick around for is you. Think about that for a moment. It's strange. The more she talks about it, the more you want to run away with her. Why do you ask? You think about coming with me? You want to say yes. Your heart tells you to say yes. I'm going to try to talk into it. Ready? If it gets a bit too much, just let me know and I'll back off. Okay. She would have died either way. If not then soon after. How can you say that? How can you know? Let me help you understand something, Regular T. Opara. People die. Things happen. It is our job to keep moving forward. You think I have never been through withdrawal? You think I've never bonded in 144 sweeps? I still feel that pain. I felt that ache.
Every day for longer than you have been alive. Then you know what it means. I know what your mind tells you it is. We are vessels, Regulator. We carry our pain and it shapes us. We learn from it, just as you should now. Do you not see how she was holding you back? How strong you are now that you have something to fight for? You feel like you're going to be sick. I will never forgive you. Your actions have cost me everything. Frankly, Regulator, I was never asking for your forgiveness. I'm asking you to look past the hate and realize that this is what you were made for. What we were made for. Respectfully, sir, if this is what I was made for, I would prefer to never been made. I'll be submitting my resignation. Find someone else. What are you so afraid of, Eopara? That an old, dying man is going to tell you to do something you didn't already want to do? You're becoming a monster? How many of you killed, Regulator? Where's the line between troll and abomination? They found her in a barrel, sir. There was nothing left for me to bury. And I've shoveled piles of dead away to save what is left of this world. Are you so weak that you refuse to steel your nerve over one woman? This is how you survive the future, Eopara. This is the only way forward. If you leave now, you'll destroy any shred of relevance Robiad has left. You don't know what to do. You want to leave. You want to get far, far away from this place. But... leave. I've done so much harm, sir. I won't do any more. This world needs you, Cecily. You're the thin line that stands between order and chaos. There are people who need me here. People who need you out there, Shiri. People who don't have anyone else. With all due respect, sir, there are other regulators. Surely they can handle things. But not with your touch. Not with the same artistry. You're the only one I trust to watch over them. Cecily needs me here. That can't be an excuse. You can't spend the rest of your life living for someone else. I only live for her, sir. I cannot continue to serve the same institution that took so much from me. Then build a new one and find something to live for. Sestra will listen. I love me, Shiri. I know it's a hard decision. I'm just going to be with you no matter what you decide. I just want to see you happy. This may be your only chance to save what little is left, Regulator Eopara. The only thing holding you back from redemption is yourself. Okay. I'll leave with you as soon as this case is over. Yes, sir. I will stay, sir. Fucking hell, that... oh my god. I'm feeling shit. This is actually making me feel emotional. Someday soon you'll walk through the trees outside of here like she does. You'll visit the forests and the cities like your ancestors did. And no matter where you end up, and you know what that place will be, that place will be better than here. This cold won't last forever, you're sure of it. There'll come a time when the suns are pleasant things again. So you bring her inside as she breaks down. Because you're here with her now. Because you won't be here forever. She tells you she needs you. You tell her you know. And when the phone rings, you already know who it is. Now might not be the best time, Sanair. Shit, sorry, just one thing. You ever heard of a gal named Yeshin Lavis? You don't have the heart to tell her. Jesus fucking Christ. That was one hell of a route. And I've already read it several times, and even now, even still, it's making me feel shit. And you think that's going to make you feel shit? Just wait until the next volume, which I will do on Friday. Volume 10 of Shots Animated in Leaden, where we'll meet these two massive-ass motherfuckers. Yeah. Only 2 or 3 left after this. I know this next route is going to be Yeshin and Noxious, because that's basically been confirmed. I don't know what this second one's going to be, and I know the third one's going to be an epilogue. Unless the second one's an epilogue, and the third one's something else. But I'm not entirely sure. So, yeah. Thanks for watching me read Snowbound Blood. I'll see you again.